Hey team, my name's Josh. Taki asked me to pop in here and shoot a satellite video how to create a signature system that is as good as clients, which is as good as the signature system that you are in right now. So just to put me in perspective, I am one of the smart cats that Taki calls up and says, hey Josh, can you help me with this thing? Now Taki's brilliant at creating these signature systems, but he knows, and in the same way that you're probably finding this out, unpacking your own expertise is really, really hard, and it's way easier if you call someone else to help you understand how your brain works. So often, I am that guy. Cool. So what are we talking about? What we're talking about is inside of the client's program, inside of Confident Delivery, we're looking at Accelerator 3, Create MVP System, or Build Your Triangle Model. We want to do this so we have something to offer to our clients, and then we can sell them into our program. Cool. So what I want to talk about is a few things today. I want to talk about how I think about this model, and I want to talk about some of the conversations that Taki and I had whilst he was building the client's signature system. Cool. So what are the components? The first component is the name in the middle. Then we've got the problems, 1, 2, and 3 around the edge, the drivers, which are the greens, and then finally the accelerators around the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, which is the kind of the process that we're going to take people through in order to get their ultimate outcome or their promise met. So there's a few things. Let's first talk about the name. When you are naming your program, it's a really good idea to name your program or to incorporate in the name the promise of your program. So Taki very cleverly called this program Clients, because guess what his promise to you is? Clients, huzzah, really, really simple. Sign 5 clients per month, make $15,000 per month, and then, that is the first hallmark or the first milestone of becoming a successful coach. Awesome. So clients, put your promise into the name of the program. Now, little secret, Taki has a transformational next program for you already set up. It's called Black Belt. It's phenomenal. I highly suggest you go and kick ass in this program and join Black Belt. And he's built that into the name of this program. This program's called Clients Powered by Black Belt. So not only does his promise live in the title, his next promise for you is in the title as well. Very, very clever. So number 1, include your promise in the name of your program. Cool. Let's talk about those problems. The problems are the complaints, the frustrations that clients tell you on the call when you say, hey, what's not working for you? Where are you stuck? What's broken? What I see coaches do is they name the problems as a coach diagnosis of what they see the problem being. This is a bad idea. So if the client's going to say to you things like, oh my God, I've just got a lack of leads, or I'm completely invisible, right? Now, you as the coach are probably going to say, well, you've got no systems in place to do that. You saying you've got no systems, that's not the problem, right? You know that's the problem because you're the coach, but it's not the problem according to them. Your reds are an empathy piece where you say the words that are going through their head and they think, this person knows me and they know me extremely well. If they can articulate my problem, they can probably help me solve my problem. So it's really important when you're using your reds, right? You want to make sure that the problem is the word, the complaint, the frustration that they would say, right? If they knew what the real problem was, the root cause of the problem, they probably wouldn't need you, right? But first of all, you just want to empathize with them. Taki's brilliant at this. Also, what you want to do is you want to make sure that problem 1 and 2 and 3 live sequentially. Like, even if you solve problem 1, you're probably still going to have problem 2 to fix. And even if you solve problem 1 and 2, you're probably then going to still have problem 3 to fix, right? So ultimately what you're doing in this program is you're solving problem 1, then problem 2, then problem 3. And if we solve those problems, they're going to get the promise, which is the name of the program. Hopefully this is making sense. Next, we want to have a look at the drivers. Well, the drivers are also known as levers or pillars. These are the focus areas that you will zoom in on in order to solve their problem, right? Or it might just be the flip side of the problem, the aspiration of what it is they actually want. So let me talk about this in the context of the client's program. So Taki knows that he wants to go with clients as the name of the program. And inside of his black belt program, his 3 pillars are called attract and convert and deliver. Now he wants to stay with this theme inside of clients, but he wants to adapt it in order to work with the cohort that he's working with. So he's changed the name into, instead of attract, we want hot leads. We want to attract hot leads, right? And then we want to convert with natural conversations. And when it comes to delivery, we want to be really confident in our delivery. We want to have a great product to sell, and we want to have a great product to deliver. We want 100% confidence in what it is that we have to offer. Cool? Now, we reverse engineered those problems. Taki knows these problems because he's been on 10,000 sales phone calls with people, and he's heard people say the same stuff over and over and over again. He knows his target market intimately, and he knows that when it comes to attracting, people say, Taki, I've got a complete lack of leads. I'm completely invisible. And Taki's like, great, would you like a swathe of hot leads? And they're like, yeah. And they go, even if I have all of those leads come in, I've just got nothing to sell them whatsoever. And he goes, well, why don't we just make sure that you've got a really great offer and a really great program to sell, which is going to attract all those hot leads. And so would you like a really great offer and a really great program? They're just off the shelf, ready to go. And they're like, yeah. And then he says, so if you have a great offer and you get a lot of hot leads, what's the next problem? And they go, well, then I get on these sales calls and I'm really good at telling people about my stuff. But then it comes to the money bit, right? Or I'm finding myself on a phone call with somebody and I'm just like, oh, dude, I do not want to work with you. I feel really uncomfortable on those phone calls, right? He's like, oh, that sounds like a really big problem. Why don't we just shift those sales calls into like really natural conversations where you work out if you're a great fit with someone, and you present a price where they see amazing return on investment. Really natural conversation, to get them out there into your program. How does that sound? And people go, yes, that would be amazing. So he's solving 3 problems with 3 things that people want. We want confident delivery, we want hot leads, and we want natural conversations to solve these problems, right? So they flip into what you want. Fears, frustrations, wants, aspirations. That's the model that we're using. Now, when it comes to the accelerators going around the edge, this is kind of interesting because you've got to think about these from a sales perspective, but also a delivery perspective. From a delivery perspective, we're thinking about what are the kind of buckets that we're going to throw content into so they're going to be evenly distributed, right? I'll say that again. What are the buckets that we're going to throw content into so it's going to be evenly distributed? Because you don't want one accelerator to have this much stuff in it and then the next accelerator to have this much stuff in it, right? You want to make sure that when it comes to taxonomy or logical levels, that your buckets are all at the same logical level, right? Sometimes I see people produce accelerator 1 and accelerator 2 is actually, it should just fit inside of accelerator 1. What I mean by taxonomy is like dog and cat and fish are the same versus dog and cat and mammal, right? Mammal is higher on the taxonomy than dog and cat. Dog and cat are examples of the mammal. So we want to make sure that your accelerators 1 to 9 in the blue are the same logical level in taxonomy, right? That's the first thing. Now, when it comes to sales, if you want it to be a sales and a delivery model, there's a few interesting things that go on. What we want to do is we want to pick those key focus areas that people have to go into, and we want to make sure that when we name these accelerators, that they are things that people will achieve, right? It should read like a kid's Christmas list, that if I gave all of these things to my client, they would just be like, oh my God, if I had all of those things, of course I'm going to get my promise. Now, there's 2 elements to this. The first thing is to evenly decide out what it is that they're going to do, like the thing, niche and transformation, offer and price, MVP system. You need all of these things. And then when it comes to the verb that you choose, you want to make sure that the verb is the end step of the process and it reads like a thing that they have and they want versus hard work that they have to do. Cool? The hard work often comes in the process, and you want to list the end step of the process, right? So we want to make sure that we choose our niche and transformation. That's a milestone. We want to make sure that we decide our offer and price. That's a milestone. And that we have created an MVP system. Yeah. Now, choose niche and transformation is really different to brainstorm niche and transformation because that's way back in the process and it sounds like a whole bunch of work, right? So choose the thing and then put a verb in front of the thing that is like the end step. Hopefully that's really helpful. Now, when you're performing this model, a lot of people perform this in a way that they feel like they're teaching people. When you're performing this model as a sales model, when you're inside of those strategy conversations, or whether you're shooting a short micro webinar to pop up online, this is a gap stretching model. What you're doing is you're empathizing with your client by saying, I know what promise that you want to have offered to you, and I acutely understand your problems. And when you're talking about the problems, you want to help them feel into those problems and be like, yes, they do suck and they are what's holding me back. Then you can pop on your coach hat and say, well, if you just focused on these 3 areas correctly, you're going to solve the problem, right? And they go, oh, that's great. Cool. Tell me about that. And then I read off these 9 things that they absolutely want to have in place. So every time I say choose niche and transformation, they go, yes. Decide offer and price. Yes, I don't know what my offer is and I don't know what my price is. If we could do that, that would be amazing. I'm building these 3 yes sets. Yes, 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 yes. The person has said yes so many times, and they start to stretch the gap to create the difference between the problem that they're in through to the thing that you're offering them to get the promise. This is a gap stretching model. Stop teaching the model, stretch the gap with the model, right? You should be calibrating the emotion of the person that you're talking to when you are performing this model, not just trying to fill them up full of data about your clever system that you're going to run people through, right? If I read out a Christmas list to my kids and it had like Lego, 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 amazing push bike, Lego, they'd just be like, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest Christmas ever. You want to do the same thing with your signature system, right? Know what they want, point out the problems of what's going on, prove that you are the authority, and then tell them the pathway to get there. Now, of course, there's a whole system that you need to go through in order to decide your niche and price, right? So decide your niche and transformation. And that's what's inside of the program. So just set up the aspiration, and then once they have popped a bit of cash in your bank account, you can show them how to do the steps to get to the end step, which is on your model. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's really helpful. Hopefully this helps you complete Pillar 1, Accelerator 3, which will get you on your journey to get to 5 clients a month, which is $15,000, and you feel like a really successful coach. And then you can come and hang out in Black Belt, because Black Belt's amazing. You should totally join Black Belt. My name's Josh. Hopefully this has been helpful today. See you later.